4, check, test, mic test, 1, 2, 3, 4, check, test, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, check, test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2.
Yes, we are live.
Check, test, mic test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Check, test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
Because she was like blocking and I scared.
Okay lah, not bad lah.
But you very steady can see me. Sit down first.
Yeah, cannot. If you stand up, so cannot.
No.
Then you stand up there lah.
Oh, so I walk there, I walk like that.
I can.
Because when I walk like that,
You walk here. Can.
okay.
Yeah. If I bend here. Yeah, bend here nanti. If you walk right, you walk here. You need to go behind. You cannot just walk in front of the door.
Okay.
Tell me if you want to do the sign-in now.
What?
Tell me if you want to do the sign-in. Not now lah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Here, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4.
politically possible.
Somehow like attract like. Really? At first I still trust the boss himself then it just turned out that things come they only come when the bad things happen. But on the whole it's very only one day of pay because I was planning to file to exchange and then Wednesday during that time I If I too obvious, everyone knows. Black out. Too obvious. Excellent. Too obvious, everyone knows that. A lot of citizens told me, I don't black out.
Van nhỉ, đúng rồi.
So what there is nobody chill and just like
我他们真是
crazy crazy
对。 Sini.
Okay, very good evening to all viewers of Happy TV. This is Darius signing in at Woodlands Stadium. This is the rally for the Singapore Democratic Party, also known as SDP. So right now, today is the rally for the Marsiling-Yew GRC, and this is the second rally they have been holding for this GRC. So Marsiling-Yew GRC will see a total of 107,599 eligible voters, and right now it's just maybe 5 minutes away from 7 p.m. But we are still seeing from the back that people are still slowly streaming into the rally site, and I'm guessing that the rally will be a little delayed. Will be expected to start later than 7 p.m. And a lot of them are actually at the booths right now looking at the various kind of stuff that are available for sale. That includes a couple of books that are written by Dr. Chee Soon Juan, as well as a couple of other stuff like flags, as well as balloons. So I think we'll be expecting a very big crowd for tonight because based on the first rally at Choa Chu Kang Stadium, and the popularity for Dr. Chee Soon Juan has been rising over the past few nights of elections campaigning. And just yesterday, the SDP has held a lunchtime rally right in the middle of the city, and the crowd that has appeared for the rally seems to be overwhelming just yesterday afternoon. So we will be expecting the same for the rally this evening, and we will also see a couple of guest speakers for tonight's rally. One would be actually the chairman of the Singapore Democratic Party, Jeffrey George, who will not be contesting in this general elections. Of course, Dr. Chee will be speaking at tonight's rally, so we will be expecting that as well. So do stay tuned with us as we bring you updates for the rally live right here at Woodlands Stadium.
Yeah, good, nice one.
Just gonna align the camera and so on. 做 camera。对对对，先有那一次嘛，我就讲哇，在56年来，台湾出来更正经的，这个不讲话。是什么我说，没有看不起。我就认为是个汉子，还记得我的名字吗？最后一天。
212, check. 212, 2212. Check 12212.
Hi. Yeah. I just only received a message. I don't know actually. I will leave it to you. That picture is
Are you going to be sitting here?
No. I think the China make it.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Modern Stadium, residents of Marsiling-Yew. 你们好吗？宝宝们，亲爱的马士林油池集选区的居民和新加坡同胞们，晚上好！谢谢您到此支持我们。My name is Azhar Sulaiman and this is 我是玉珠 and we are very glad to be your MC for the evening. And I would like to introduce you two of our interpreters from Singapore Deaf Association. Sorry, I repeat that. Singapore Association for the Deaf. The first one is Claudine. The second one, sister, is Amira. 在开场之前，我想提醒大家要保持场地的清洁，不要乱丢垃圾。Yes, you never ever leave any of your belongings or your trash after the rally, right? Running an election campaign is very expensive, especially so if you are an opposition party. Because we neither have an iron bank backing us up or we have a sugar daddy. So do any way you can, be it time, effort or we appreciate very sincerely all your contribution no matter how big or small. 竞选的活动消耗很大的人力和基金，像打印及张贴海报啊，分发传单，搭建演讲台，出租车辆等等，这些都必须花费很多的资金。我们恳求您待会儿到那边红顶布亭那儿去参观，看看有哪些物品您喜欢，就支持我们好吗？谢谢。还有，另外你们也可以向我们的工作人员报名，成为我们在9月11号当天的选票和点票人员，帮忙监督选票过程顺利和公平的进行。谢谢大家。Okay, for tonight, our guest speaker is a teacher by profession. In year 2000, 2000, she joined SDP and she took part as a candidate in both 2002 and 2006.
首先要介绍的是今晚的特别来宾和发言人，他是一名教学人员，他在2000年加入民主党，也代表党在2002及2006年参加竞选。他不是别人，就是徐春泉博士的妹妹徐淑珍小姐。
Let's put hands together for Miss Sept.
徐淑珍小姐，请。
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends, fellow Singaporeans. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in Marsiling, which was part of Sembawang GRC, which I had the privilege of contesting in back in 2006. Ever since 2011 general elections, the SDP has been working very hard. And pretty much right after the elections, within days, we set about working for you again. We reorganized ourselves into units and started work right away. Now, within 2 months after the last elections, the SDP went to several blocks in Marsiling, just not too far from here, I remember. And we paid home visits to low-income families. We found out what some of their dire needs were, and we set about helping them. For some, we wrote letters on their behalf to the town council to appeal for the lowering of rental charges for their rented homes, the Bang Setian rented homes. For others, we brought supplies such as milk powder for their little kids, toddlers, babies, whose mothers could not quite afford the milk powder, which, as some of you may know, can be quite exorbitant. And we brought also other basic essentials. To one family, we saw that they were sleeping on their couches. And so we went about, looked for a bed, and we even brought the bed to them. So we have been on the ground helping people. Even up to last month, SDP members provided food parcels, packet food, for the low-income residents in Marsiling. So the SDP has been working very hard in this area. Now, aside from reaching to residents on a one-on-one basis like what we've been doing, we've also come up with alternative policies to the PAP's policies that are not working anymore for Singaporeans. Now, our policies are not manifestos that have just been created during the election campaign season to give lofty information about what the party will do if we get elected into parliament. No, not manifestos. What we have are real, well thought out, well-researched policies put together by professionals to come up with real practical solutions to the problems that Singaporeans like you and I are facing. In 2012, we came up with our healthcare policy, which was put together by one of our candidates, Dr. Paul Tambaya, together with a team of doctors. We also put up our housing policy, population paper to address the problem of overcrowdedness. And we also came up with a policy on the economy and education. In the 1990s, the SDP was the first opposition party to bring up the issue that's very close to your hearts, the CPF withdrawal issue. At that time, in the 1990s, so some 20 years ago, the minimum sum was at 80,000, and the withdrawal age 55. 20 years later, our minimum sum now is what? 160,000. Withdrawal age, 65. Now you ask yourselves, why has the ruling party had such a free hand in increasing our minimum sum, making it so hard for us to withdraw any of our money? It is because in Parliament, you haven't had strong voices to speak up for you. It is because our current MPs have been practically silent on this issue. Now I can assure you that should you put our candidates, the SDP candidates, into Parliament, they will be relentless in helping us bring back your CPF money, our CPF money. Now I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about something that's close to my heart, something I know a little bit about, more about rather, the education system in Singapore. I know many of you who are parents of school-going children are very concerned, anxious about the stress your children are going through. Now I was a teacher, I was teaching in the government in the secondary school for more than a dozen years. I know how hard things can be for your children with a rigid examination system, with a focus on the academics, the constant tests, the exams, the remedials, the supplementary classes, and tuition. We know as parents how hard it is to see your kids struggle, how hard you struggle with them, the pressure that you go through with your kids, how you worry yourself sick about them. Now the SDP understands this because we too are parents, we are grandparents, we are aunts, we are uncles, we are educators. Now this is why the SDP has been relentless, we've been tireless, we spare no effort in advocating for changes in our education system. Again, we were the first party to call for smaller class sizes. We advocated also for the removal of the one-sitting PSLE. We advocated for a more holistic approach to include the physical, emotional, and psychological developmental aspects of a whole person. Now, Singapore's education system focuses way too much on cognitive development. That is, we have very much a result-oriented system to the detriment of physical and socio-emotional development. Now in our 70-page, mind you, 70 pages, not 7 pages, 70-page policy paper, it just goes to show how extensive a research we've done. The SDP has come up with alternative proposals to the education system. We have advocated for a system that cultivates and develops creative minds. We want our children to be able to have depth in their thinking. We want them to think insightfully and independently, and simply not just regurgitate what they read off the textbooks. Our education paper explores strategies to build confidence in our students. Confidence. That's something that many of our students, many of our kids lack. We've got to instill this in them. And that cannot be done through rote learning or 读死书, as they would say. We need to identify their passion, their strengths, their interests. Now the SDP also in our paper has plans for smaller class sizes. Now anyone with half a brain would know that in a smaller class size, we are able to give better attention to students. At the moment, I believe our class sizes average about 40. The SDP is advocating to half that size. Now remember, to my shock, that one of our former ministers had said that class size doesn't matter. Now, if that's the case, then why is it that the gifted programs has a much smaller class size. In our paper, we're also advocating for one sitting PSLE to go. Now, parents, you know that one sitting of PSLE, that 3-4 days, determines your child's which secondary school, which stream your child goes to. That puts too much stress on a single exam, on a 12-year-old, and expected to perform on that one sitting. No, that has to change. That puts too much stress, too much pressure, not just on the students, but also on parents. Assessments should be varied and aggregated to determine the child's overall performance. Now, there are many more. There are a myriad of recommendations that the SDP has put forward in a comprehensive 70-page policy paper that we have offered sound alternatives to make school much less stressful and indeed less traumatic for your children. The SDP's more holistic, more inspiring, more creative approach to education is what we will advocate for you if or when we put our candidates into Parliament. But ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, the elections is not about the SDP. It is not about the PAP. It's not about your candidates. It is about you. Any election, every election is about citizens, you and me. It is about your jobs. It is about your CPF, your housing issues, your medical fees, your children's education, the quality of your life. It is about your family, your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews. Put the SDP's candidate into Parliament. Make them work for you. Make the SDP candidates work for you. Because dear friends, you deserve better. You deserve people who work for you and not a government that treats you like a digit. So friends, come Friday, cast your ballot. Vote for the people whom I promise will work for you. Vote for the SDP. Thank you and good night.
谢谢徐小姐。大选的活动呢，费用实在是真遮大。那，阮若着要还大磅礴的承包商啊，罗里甲广告车的租金啊，因海报甲传单等等。那，阮出一份力甲精神、时间甲胆量。 阮嘛要求恁会使出一片恁的诚心来支持阮，会使无？真好。另外咧，阮嘛要要求恁成为民主党的投票点票代表人，主要是伫投票迄日咧观察投票是。 公平顺利的进行，唔莫有啥物差错。你只要去迄边，甲阮咱的工作人员报名，安尼就会使。
So my beloved Singaporeans, who gonna vote for this Friday? Which party? One more time. Okay, our next speaker is. Standing for Holland Bukit Timah, he is a compliance auditor in a leading security company, a former civil servant. He holds a professional certificate. He holds a professional certificate in the Institute of Administrative Management and is married with 4 children. Enjoy cooking, baking, bowling, and simply chilling with family.
现在要介绍的是河南鲁基西芝麻集选区的候选人，他现年55岁，是4名孩子的爸爸。他是前公务员，目前在一家私人机构担任审计师。平时他喜欢烹饪和打保龄球。这位候选人就是西迪玛丽先生。Mr.西迪玛丽。
Good evening, voters of Marsiling-Yew team. How are you? Let me try this one. 你们好不好？Apa khabar semua? Thank you for coming down tonight and giving us your continued support. My fellow Singaporeans, we have been on this journey of nation building for 50 years. At the start of that journey, we have led the driving to a competent driver, paid him, fed him, and kept him happy. We even allowed him to increase his salary in the name of improved productivity. As years pass, we realized that our daily route has been changed. The ride got a little rougher. A reminder was given, and the driver cried and asked for forgiveness. He even promised to improve his work and smoothen the ride. 5 years down, the same driver again failed to improve. In addition, he has begun to control our calendar, our life as a whole. Sound familiar? Yes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, hold that thought for a few moments. I'll bring you back to current day that we Singaporeans are in right now. We have given the PAP our votes for 50 years. And we have given the PAP our votes for 50 years and left all the planning to them and hoped that they will look after our affairs and our hopes, our children's hope and future. We trusted them. We even gave them a decent salary. I'll bring you back to 1973. The late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew then drew a salary of $9,700 per month. That would be about $120,000 in 1 year. In the span of 40 years, the current PM is drawing a salary of $2.2 million per year, not including allowances as an MP of $192,000 and CPF contributions. I ask you, what justifies this exorbitant amount when the real development of our infrastructure, our trade links, and the Singapore brand name was accomplished in the first 3 decades? Even this $1 million salary doesn't seem to satisfy the PAP MPs and ministers. And recently complaining that they have not had a salary raise for the last 3 years. Shall we look into what makes the minister's salary package? Do you know that the minister's yearly salary consists of 13 months salary and other variable components, bonuses, totaling 20 months. Imagine 1 year's work worth 20 months of salary. Do you believe your ministers have put in 20 months of work, of value work every year since the last election? Another compelling issue that concerns you and I is our CPF. In 1984, the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew said this when he was speaking on bank and CPF savings. Quote, "This is your wealth, the savings of people in individual accounts. This is your wealth, the savings of people in individual accounts are not government reserves. I say this to you, we cannot give the PAP government a blank check to use our CPF savings and to invest in unsound financial instruments and gambling them away. We want the PAP government to be transparent and be forthwith on accountability. Where is the control? Where's the check and balance? Do we have to say, or do we have a say in this? Are we consulted on how the monies were used for? No! On another angle, it is unethical to lock away our CPF monies by way of minimum sum and raising the withdrawal age to 65. How many of you here have reached 55 years? How many? A lot. I'm 55 this year. I know how you feel. We are in the same boat. The CPF is our hard-earned money, and the PAP government cannot rule out our lives and tell us how and when we can use our retirement fund. It is wrong for the PAP government to act arbitrarily and continue to ignore our needs. Let me remind everyone here that the PAP government has mistaken our CPF money, our hard-earned money, for their money. This is not only irresponsible, it is also immoral. Many of our older folks, uncles and aunties, we met during our walkabout, said that they are disappointed, disillusioned with the CPF situation. Many Malay pakcik and makcik also want to use the money for personal goals. Some want to use it to perform a Hajj like they used to in the good old days. And some uncles and aunties want to use it to fulfill a life's ambition. Some may want to travel, some may want to give it to their children, and so on. So fellow Singaporeans, we have enough stress from our daily life, and after working hard and saving our hard-earned money, we deserve to enjoy our retirement years. Or for some of you, your semi-retirement years. So where is the dignity in growing old? I say that the PAP government cannot keep moving the goalposts just to suit their needs and ignore Singaporeans' needs. Refusing to heed the plight of the people, especially our pioneers that were directly hands-on building Singapore in those early 3 decades, only shows their complete arrogance. And they continue to be arrogant until today. Let me conclude by saying this. The PAP has held the government's reign for the last 50 years and has held us ransom to its unpopular policies. Policies that affect us regardless of race, language, or religion. PM Lee said, the future of this country is at stake for this general election. I couldn't agree more. The SDP couldn't agree more. And I believe you couldn't agree more. the time we take our destiny in our own hands. This is the time we tell the PAP government, enough is enough. This is the time we say we want change. This is the time you decide and let SDP be your voice. And we promise you that your voice will be heard loud and clear in Parliament. My fellow Singaporeans, this Friday is an auspicious day. Let's hold hands and clear our doubts and fears. We must have the conviction to take our destiny in our own hands. So set your hearts and minds that you will vote wisely for your family, for your children's future, for your happiness, and for this island we call home. So, you must vote for change and trust the SDP to be your voice in Parliament. Thank you. God bless you.
谢谢习先生。哎，艾莎，你会不会讲华语的？
不可以，一点一点而已。
哦，也是可以啦哈。哎，要走开，让我问问你，你要把谁选进国会呢
SDP
啊，你们要把谁投进国会里？很好。
All right. Oh, look at the crowd. We are truly honored and appreciate all of those that have made time and effort to come down here to attend our rally. Thank you, everyone.
谢谢大家的支持。
Running an election campaign is very expensive, especially so if you are an opposition party. So we plead for your support. Support us by purchasing any merchandise at our merchandise booth on the right hand side. You can also support autographs to be signed by Dr. Chi Soon Juan later on. Do support us also in your effort and time, and also for as polling agent or counting agent on the day itself.
这位今天要介绍的是这位马士岭油池集选区的候选人，他是在1995年加入民主党。平时他喜欢阅读和写作，他现年56岁，是6只猫和1只狗的主人。他也是新加坡国立大学英语教学中心的兼职讲师。这是他第一次参加竞选。
The next candidate is an adjunct lecturer in the Center for English Language Communication NUS. She is a single living in Marsiling. Yes, this is her home ground, with 6 cats and a dog. She holds a PhD in literature, a master's in creative writing, and a bachelor of accountancy. She joined SDP in 1995, and this is the first time she is standing for general election. For leisure, Dr. Wong will enjoy reading and writing. Put your hands together for Dr. Wong Yi.
候选人就是杨淑仪小姐。
谢谢大家，很高兴看到这么多人，今天也很谢谢你们抽时间来跟我们谈话。可惜小妹在国立大学是教英文科的，所以今晚要用英文跟你们谈话，好吗？好。Okay, dear voters of Marsiling-Yew, good evening. My name is Wong Su-yi, and I'm a lecturer at the NUS. I've been active active with the party for 20 years, and the party has been active for even longer, for 35 years, walking the ground and listening to the people. Since the last elections, like Sept and Sept before me have said, the party have launched 10 policy papers on national issues such as healthcare, economy, education, housing, population, and the cost of living. Now, Sept has spoken on education, and my colleague Sept has also talked about CPF and ministerial pay. So for me, I want to focus on one of the 10 policy papers that we have implemented in the past 4 years. That is, I want to talk about cost of living. Now, in 2009, the Ministry of Manpower says that the median income for Singaporeans is $2,420 a month. That is the median salary of Singaporeans. Now, what is median income? Simply put, median income refers to the middle value of all the incomes of Singaporeans. In other words, half of Singaporeans earn more than $2,420, while the other half earn less than that. Let's take a look at this number, 2420. In our cost of living policy paper, we made a list of how much one family of 4 members will need to spend every month. If every family member spends $10 a day for food, that already means $40 per day for a family of 4. So for 1 month, that family of 4 will need to spend $1,200 on food. That's half of the income gone. Where does the rest go? Housing installment, another $500. That means about $1,200 minus $500, you have $700 left. Utilities and transport, $200 each. That means you are left with $300. Where does this $300 go to? Handphone, internet bills, and household supplies, and then school fees and supplies for the kids. That's where the rest go. So you are left with $20 or almost nothing. What have we not covered? What if you get sick? Medical bills, we know, can cost a lot. And what about saving for the children if they need to go to university? And since life cannot be just working every day without doing anything else, what about money for leisure and entertainment? Not to mention holidays every year. Also, we still have not included saving for retirement because we can't work all our lives. So all this, you will not be able to do on this median income of $2,420. Also, as I said earlier on, median income means that half of Singaporeans are earning below this figure. So, probably half of you here don't even earn that much. Do you?
My salary $1,600.
Hey, for those who may earn more, life still remains a struggle. Because $2,420 does not cover things that are necessary for us to have a healthy work-life balance. Now, in our cost of living policy paper, we propose 3 solutions that can reduce cost of living and make life sustainable not just for low-wage workers, but for the economy as a whole. is to increase the wages of workers. Wages of workers must be increased through schemes like minimum wage. Why do we not have minimum wage? The PAP tries to scare us and say that if we have minimum wage, then everything will become more expensive. Now this argument is flawed. Minimum wage protects low-income workers. What makes cost of living high is not minimum wage, but the rising cost of things like SDP flats and medical care. And the cost of SDP flats and medical care are not determined by minimum wage, but decided and set by the government. In fact, economists who have studied the effects of minimum wage say that minimum wage will help grow the economy. This is because when low-wage workers have higher purchasing power, they will spend more, and this increased spending will act like an economic stimulus that results in more profits for companies. SDP's third solution to tackle rising cost of living is to implement the talent track scheme. For many, many years, the government has been importing cheap foreign labor. The government has also been taking in more immigrants in a bid to increase our GDP, our gross domestic product. But every intelligent person knows that this is an artificial way to boosting economic growth. There is no real economic innovation involved. Under our talent track scheme, we propose that employers can hire foreign labor only if the skills that are needed cannot be found among Singaporean workers. This means that companies cannot hire foreign workers simply because they are cheaper. It also means that foreign workers who wish to work in Singapore will have to qualify based on a number of factors such as age, qualifications, skills, and experience.
No day, no night.
This will ensure that employers are able to hire suitable foreign labor that our economy needs. To sum up the SDP's solutions to tackle the rising cost of living, by way of conclusion, we are proposing that the government lower prices, increase wages, and implement the Singaporean First policy. Now there are two other things that I want to talk to you about. At SDP, we aspire to be more than just a check on the governing party and the ministries. As I said earlier on, since the last elections, we have launched 10 policy papers on national issues. These are policies that are designed to make Singapore into a happy and inclusive society, and not just a society in which we become slaves to the GDP. Now in all these policies, there are two principles that I'd like to emphasize. Two principles which I think are sorely lacking in the present government. The two principles are related. The first is accountability, and the second, transparency. You know, when Ong Teng Cheong became the Singapore president, one of the first things he did was to ask how much there was in the Singapore reserves. And you know the famous reply we received? That is, it would take 56 man years to produce a dollar and cent value of the immovable assets, our money. we must have an independent inquiry to find out what went wrong. And I stress the word independent inquiry, not just people appointed by themselves to check on themselves. Is this government capable of taking responsibility and implementing an independent inquiry? Okay, let us see what happens at the GIC. For those who don't know, GIC stands for Government of Singapore Investment Corporation. It's basically the company set up by the government to manage our foreign reserve. So, we are talking about billions of dollars stashed in the GIC. Now, if you go to the GIC website, you will read the words, the government holds the GIC board accountable for the overall portfolio performance. But guess who are on the GIC board? 1. Lee Hsien Loong, 2. Tharman Shanmugaratnam, 3. Teo Chee Hean, 4. Lim Han Kiang, and 5. Heng Swee Keat. These are the same 5 persons who are the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, and the Minister in the government. So where is accountability when there are no independent checks? So ladies and gentlemen, what the SDP, when we are in the parliament, will push for accountability and transparency. Come this Friday, when you go to the polling station, put the cross next to the rocket, the SDP.
Okay, let's play a game. Whoever is on my side shout SDP, aye?
那些站在我左手边的，我们喊民主党大大声赢过他们，好不好？
So we shout after one another. My team first, okay? 1, 2, 3. SDP! 民主党 SDP! 民主党 SDP! 民主党太好了。 All right. The next candidate is the man standing for this GRC. Until recently, he is the director of Muhammadiyah Islamic College. Now he is a freelance advisor for education and training. He is 45 years old, married with 5 children. Holds a bachelor degree in architectural study, diploma in teaching and training, and diploma in counseling. As a Malay Muslim, he is bothered by the discrimination of the Malays in Singapore and wishes to address such inequality. He joined SDP because he feels this is the only party that concretely spells out a stand on various Malay issues. Besides work, he loves to read, travel, experience the great outdoor and spend time with his family.
接着要介绍的也是马士林油池集选区的代表候选人，他是一名教育顾问，拥有10多年的教学经验。他育有5名6至17岁的子女。过去20多年里，他积极参加马来社团活动，从中了解到我国马来同胞经常被我们的制度有所排斥和区别。他从政的希望就是能代表马来同胞们发言，争取福利，改造生活。我所形容的这位候选人就是达曼胡利先生。
Dear Singaporeans,
and voters of Marsiling and UT GRC. How are you tonight? After 8 days of hard campaigning, I am personally quite tired. But looking at all of you tonight brings back the energy in me. I am very new to all the campaigning, unlike the seasoned leadership and volunteers of SDP, with their sterling energy and commitment. But I have enjoyed and learned much every day for the last 8 days. Every time when I go back at night, I try to find some time to catch up on things at home and also find time for personal solace for my soul. I have been a social work activist in the community organizations before being trusted in an election as a candidate. It has been a true baptism of fire. I have been thrown in the deep ocean, and the only way to survive is to swim. And that is what I did. So far, with your support, I think I am floating. Thank you very much. Friends and fellow Singaporeans, with your kind permission, I would like to address the voters in Malay for a few moments. Salam sejahtera pengundi Marsiling dan UT. Pada hari Jumaat ini, anda akan mengundi untuk memilih seorang wakil rakyat untuk mewakili anda di Parlimen. Apakah arti seorang wakil rakyat? Sebenarnya, soalan ini lebih untuk diri saya daripada diri anda sebagai pengundi. Selama 8 hari berkempen, saya bersama rakan-rakan SDP telah cuba mempersembahkan diri kita dan perjuangan kita di SDP dengan jujur dan jelas semampu kita. Dengan harapan supaya anda sebagai pengundi akan lebih tahu tentang kami untuk menilai dan memilih dengan penuh bijaksana. Hakikatnya, 8 hari pasti tidak mencukupi untuk anda benar-benar mengenali kami secara pribadi dan juga parti SDP. 9 hari untuk berkempen yang diberi memang tidak mencukupi sebenarnya. Namun, 9 hari inilah sahaja yang kita ada. Sepanjang kempen ini, saya menjelaskan kepada anda pengalaman hidup saya. Sebelum politik, penglibatan saya adalah sebagai sukarelawan dan LPM di 2 buah masjid selama 10 tahun. Bertugas di sebuah badan Islam selama 6 tahun. Dan sebuah madrasah juga selama 6 tahun. Setahun 5 bulan mengurus sebuah kolej Islam serta 7 tahun berbisnes dalam bidang pendidikan. Setelah membuka sebuah syarikat swasta, saya juga berkelayakan sebagai seorang kaunselor dan mampu memberi khidmat kaunseling secara sukarela. Setakat ini, itu sahaja yang saya dapat sampaikan kepada anda. Sebenarnya saya khawatir maklumat tentang pengalaman saya ini belum cukup untuk membantu anda menilai siapakah sebenarnya diri saya ini. Kerana saya takut amanah yang bakal saya pikul nanti bersama dengan rakan-rakan di SDP akan dipertanggungjawabkan oleh anda dan juga ilahi suatu hari nanti. Ini adalah suatu yang sangat membebani jiwa saya sejak saya putuskan untuk terjun ke medan politik. Adakah saya mampu untuk melaksanakan tanggungjawab saya selaku wakil rakyat anda nanti jika dipilih dan dilantik? Sebenarnya, sehingga saat ini saya belum dapat menjawab soalan itu. Namun, saya akan beristiqomah dan teruskan perjuangan baru dalam politik. Apa yang menjadi pendorong saya untuk teruskan ialah sokongan kuat yang saya dapat daripada keluarga dan beberapa teman-teman yang yakin dan kenal dengan diri saya dan juga anda sekalian. kekuatan kepada jiwa saya. Jadi, dengan berbekapkan pepatah Melayu, membujur lalu melintang patah, Pejam Celik telah berlalu 8 hari dan kita hanya ada sehari saja lagi untuk berkempen. Bagi saya, pilihan raya ini adalah detik bersejarah untuk rakyat Singapura. Jika dipilih, saya dan teman-teman di SDP berpeluang mencorak kembali negara kita. Jika dilantik ke Parlimen, kami akan berdepan dengan barisan menteri dan akan tahu sama ada mereka benar-benar hebat seperti yang diwawarkan ataupun hanya indah kabar dari rupa. Bagi anda pula, kuasa di tangan anda. Seperti rakyat yang lain, anda berpeluang menentukan siapakah gerangan yang layak mewakili anda di Parlimen. Fikirlah sejauh-jauhnya, tanyalah sedalam-dalamnya dan doalah sebanyak-banyaknya. Setelah itu, beranikan diri anda untuk memilih seorang calon yang anda benar-benar yakin akan mampu mengembalikan suara rakyat di Parlimen. Undilah SDP. Sekian, terima kasih. Now my speech in English. Dear Singaporeans and voters of Marsiling-Yew GRC, on September 11, we will go to the polls to elect the leaders to the chambers of Parliament to serve the people of Singapore. This Friday, we the people have the power in our hands to decide on whom to be our leaders to serve the people for the next 4 to 5 years. We have two important factors to consider in making that very vital decision. Firstly, we will choose leaders to make decisions on our behalf in Parliament. And secondly, we are appointing leaders to help improve our life and living conditions in our constituency. Both of these roles are important and interconnected. In choosing these leaders for Parliament, we must have a set of criteria. What are they? I can give you 3 important criteria. Number 1, credible. Number 2, compassionate. Number 3, competent. What is credible? Credible is about having a proven track record with the people. Compassionate is a people's quality that places others before self. Competent is knowing what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. These 3 important criteria for leadership are the very foundation of SDP. SDP is not about chasing a material dream at the expense of the people. SDP is not about excessive salaries for ministers and denying minimum wage for the common people. SDP is not about denying the right of the people to their money by shamelessly locking up the people's money just because people consultation with us, the owner. This is about our CPF. SDP is not about profit making through exploiting the vulnerabilities and innocence that the common people suffer. And SDP is surely not about natural aristocracy, which is nothing but a bunch of elite people self-serving, greedy and controlled. SDP aspires for a society that places people and their well-being as core and center of its existence and purpose. SDP strives to reduce the income gap in society between the rich and the poor by raising the lowest income through legislating the minimum wage. SDP believes in a Singapore that prioritizes Singaporeans and is selective in choosing foreigners to ensure that they are truly needed and are given a fair deal and not exploited. SDP is for the people, by the people, and believes in the power of the people. In SDP, we believe in the brotherhood of man. No matter what color or creed a person has, the blood that flows in all our veins are the same red color. The color of SDP. We are all equal. In the last general election, the popular vote for the PAP was 60%, and that of the opposition was 40%. However, in terms of parliamentary seats, this was not reflected, as PAP had a huge majority due to the unique system that the PAP has devised to give them a major advantage. Only in Singapore do we have a democracy that sounds good, but has all the machinery of state and institutional apparatus skewed to their advantage to safeguard their interests and survival. The mainstream media is anything but unbiased towards the PAP. Our local papers fare badly in the ranking of freedom of the press and impartiality. It has become a routine banter among us each morning to guess what mediocre coverage that they will offer the opposition that day. A daily agony. Tak boleh tahan. What Yusuf Hussein, tak boleh tahan. For the Malay community, I guess, we have been the worst. If you are a foreigner and not of the local media, and you buy Berita Harian in 7-Eleven, it's not strange if you had thought it was a party in favor of the PAP. It's almost embarrassing for me as a Malay to say this to you. I have personal friends in BH, fellow undergrads when we were studying together in NUS, lamenting the kind of childish censorship of the BH editor. And we cheat ourselves by saying that we are a first world nation. What a cruel joke! They have it really good, people. Everything is skewed to their advantage. The contest between the PAP and the opposition is best described in the epic battle between David and the mighty Goliath, found in the Holy Bible. The young and small David, standing before this huge behemoth monster of a man, in all of his mightiness, clad with protective armor of war, a formidable sight it must have been. All reasonable calculation and logic will know that it is a severely lopsided battle for the small David, in so much against the David is no match against the mighty Goliath. With just one swing of his mighty sword, the young man will fall and expire. There is no way at all for David to win the battle. But life and history have shown, again and again, in the natural order of things, life has a strange logic of its own. It brings out from the earth nourishments that grow countless vegetation when rain pours on the seemingly dead and dry earth. And so it was with David. He knew that he was severely disadvantaged, but he believed in all of his heart that this monster can be defeated. He only needs to know where is his weaknesses. and focus his attack there. And he will win the unwinnable fight. And so it was. David had a secret weapon, which offers a tiny little advantage to a small man in facing the advancing giant. He had a slingshot, a weapon of war in those days, which would equate today to an M203 grenade launcher, which can propel a grenade some distance. With one sling of a shot, with accuracy of direction, David hit Goliath hard at the only vulnerable part of his body, the skull of his head, killing the giant in an instant. So that was how David killed Goliath and freed his people. Truth has a power of its own to rise up, even though it may be buried under decades of lies and distortion. Victor Hugo once said, all the forces in the world are not so powerful as an idea whose time has come. And that time may indeed has come. What we are seeing all over the land is a rekindling of hope in the hearts of Singaporeans. People from all walks of life dare to come forward to be counted. Suddenly, they begin to feel that they have a real alternative for their leaders. Hope shines bright across the horizon. The wind of change is blowing hard across this small island. And brave people like you who listened, think, and concluded that the SDP makes sense are the force that push that wind forward. That the opposition is credible. That words spoken in our rallies resonate with what you had wanted to say all this while. SDP, like Dr. Chi Soon Juan, is an open book. What you see and hear is what you get. Please spell out in detail all our policies, and during this campaign, you hear we explain our alternative policies for Singapore to you. We push them out too via our website and the social media in attractive and simple, colorful cartoons to help you understand them clearly. We believe that you are able to understand and think for yourself and be informed and make that informed decision. My fellow Singaporeans, the future of this nation is in your hands. You can choose to take the tough but high road to make us proud as citizens of a free and open nation. Or we can choose to let it be business as usual. We present ourselves before you with all our credentials and heart, and offer our service to be your servants in Parliament. Led by Dr. Chi Soon Juan, Professor Paul Tambaya, Chong Wai Fong, and Sinek for Holland Mutetima GRC, and John Tan, Brian Lee, Dr. Wong Sung Yi and I for Marsiling-Yew GRC, and Jared for Bukit Panjang, Sarah Sivan for Bukit Batok, Jasmine Go for Yuma SNC. We seek your support to pave the way forward with us in our nation's next journey. Dig deep into your innermost conscience and draw out the David in your pure heart. The secret weapons is in your hands. And cast the ballot on September 11 to forever change this nation to becoming better and freer. Let SDP be your voice in Parliament. Vote for SDP. Vote for your next generation. Aku mahu Singapura. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Okay, next up, Mr. Brian Lee was a founding member of the Young Democrats, the youth wing of the SDP. He came from a humble family and stayed in an SDP 3-room flat with his parents when he was young. He's the eldest of the 3 children. His humble beginnings exposes him to the issues which men in the street grapples every day. Currently he's working as a manager in a local hospital and is married with 4-year-old daughter. He's a bit sick today, so please be nice to him, right?
他现年39岁，是一家医院的行政经理。小时候与父母弟妹住在三藩市政府祖屋，因此他非常贴近一般市民的生活。他就是马西岭邮池集选区的候选人林文新先生。
好嘅，朋友聽到冇？聽到未？好啦，你我免講大聲了。歹勢啊，我今日淡薄發病，還是我等講話收聲，還是教授，希望你能會使用點 OK。各位親愛的不能兄弟的選民，各位親愛的朋友，大家好。我是民主黨這選區其中的候選人，叫林文興。放心啦，我是直接跳回來的。我是民主黨正港的林文興。今日我要講4項物件，頭一項。昨暝我伫武吉巴島選區的群眾大會，講到 MRT 常常歹的問題，唔知是我的嘴衰，還是安尼簽。今日早起我帶我的查某囝去有議員的時間，東北線就是 NEL 內的 MRT 拄好歹，那講車無。一個人佇做工的讀冊，佇 MRT 條條 ，MRT 的工人講 MRT 的坐上時慢20分鐘。我甲大家同款，無變，帶我的查某囝搭免錢的巴士，佫要換2通巴士，較到我查某囝的有地灣，我咱路晚有45分鐘啊到學堂。SBS 公司伫2015年第2季扣掉開銷所賺的錢差不多600萬。全世界油會價錢落一段時間，政府公司咧，伊講今日1個月要起車稅起280%。你知以前攏總理公司無？伊講 SBS 公司無賺錢啊，各位同志，咱總是好。SDP 一邊鼓勵人民莫換車、莫買車，叫咱來搭公共交通的車，搭 MRT 搭巴士。另外一邊，伊就起咱的車稅。我要問你人。SDP 到底是照顧人民，還是照顧 SBS 的公共？公共交通是提供予市民的服務，不是來趁錢的低石頭。車稅安尼貴，別怪全世界最珍貴的。社會的時間，新加坡伫2001年第97名，到今日的頭1名。咱講理由無 ，SMRT 甲 SBS 的巴士，講伊人會開銷真大，所以賺錢袂少。但是2002年的時間，政府為人為550輛巴士， 甲应付10年的开销。所以咱讲伊人咧亏本，差不多人咱相信无？对嘛，是无相，咱袂相信嘛，是无可能的代志。李显龙总理一年会单位240几万，咱国袂算回人了无？国袂算回人哦。美国、加拿大、德国、英国、日本、苏联、印度、中国、法国。总理甲总统，总部做出来单位嘛无离关啊！以前老公司无，前老讲，伊对以我同心啊，为国为民啊，不搞我党心，为国为民啊！咱小小看卖。接班 SPS 公司袂贪污的总理，莫来甲你谈心，伊莫来甲你为啥物？都不要紧的，毕业部长我甲你讲啊，阿婆叫抓皮的行为是出来无代志做，除非去比赛参加不齐，有理有无。在保障百姓人民无？咱来把这交通部长李大友无？白好李大友。咱在第四节 MRT， 要是看到这 MRT 的时间哦，就是 MRT 马路12号了。就马路。MRT 马上12号了，伊开始叫批下来开始，我们有关心的人，但是伊最可怜的，伊坐 MRT 哦，坐起坐落 MRT 佫是菜派。各位，总理甲部长的规工几百万，伊莫了解你痛苦。尤其我人民主党的候选人较贴分率无，是咱较贴分率。我甲咱所想，甲你搭 MRT 搭巴士，总理甲部长，甲你无甲咱共款，甲你还伫 MRT 扩销，佮甲你我保证讲 MRT 袂歹。你看伊还有甲咱共款无？伊会了解你的心内无？会痛苦。所以，你若是选咱民主党的候选人伫国会，咱有个办法伫国会里特质后一个交通的部长，问伊安怎解决这公共交通的问题。所以。希望你们会使考虑，我人Marsiling-Yew的候选人属于大曼中甲我的团队，给咱一个机会，伫国会里甲你靠拼，会使无？我今日要讲的第二代志，就是针对考公安部长昨日伫 BAB 的群众大会讲的话。你知考部长讲啥无？伊讲，即摆 BAB 大选了，可能无办法做政府啊。伊讲哦，目前意识是安全的。伊讲，国民党议员想要做政府。各位，我用心算啊，手算啊，用个计算机来算啊，算来算去，无办法算着民主党安怎做政府。 咱唔嘛是得意的候选人，咱有办法做政府。咱得意的民主党的候选人，会使做的，就是伫国会里代表恁来思想，替恁来问政。也是 BAB 提出的政策，正是为人民好的。咱民主党是无可能为着反对来反对。但是，也是 BAB 推出无好的政策，亲像690万人的人口去大狗场，靠了咱的公积金的政策。咱民主党就放 BAB 陪煞啦。所以恁通放心，咱的工课毋是伫国会里、国会内面乱笑笑。阮的工课是协助新加坡交过12日新的政府，为着新加坡接落来的50年的计划，互咱新加坡的人民甲子孙有较好的将来。所以我希望各位朋友，莫互 BAB 喊着啊，大家投民主党好咧！其实代志我讲的是投票。各位，我来知民主党会知，咱正输甲咱的政党，所以逐年有几万人来听咱的群众大会。我来知，咱相信民主党政治的信仰，更相信我咱民主党的替代政策。我替民主党伫这道甲咱讲一声感谢。一切推你来的支持甲爱护，但是问题是，逐摆到投票的时阵，你若去投票站，听到家己的名叫喊，看到票后尾号码，我看到穿白衫的 BAB 的投票的代理员，你的心就软出来。骹手就准，本来才投票民主党的，而是心内惊歹死，最后失去会使改变你将来的机会。各位，我会甲你讲，你投票是秘密的，无人知你投对个政党，叫你名毋是国 BAP 的投票的代理员。是投票站戴骹手挑剔的工人，伊要叫你名的原因，是要确定你才是一区的全民。票顶号码是莫互人机会做假票。你想看卖？你若去看去实多沙，票顶就是有号码，所以。选票甲这款票的道理是相像的。我来看你，我来讲，你哪有明白无？唔了解未？哦。所以，请咱放心，我来知你哪投票民主党，万一可能会知，伊个人就是你家己啦。我用我家己来做例如，我一路来从来毋捌投票 BAB， 我伫罗群厝做工，传来无人来找我的代志。你看我其他几手无？ 你看马到了我昨日伫乌吉巴岛的山区的群众大会讲到我最近搬去丰岛的代志。你看我徛无地头无？就是嘛，有啥物好惊？所以希望恁人莫家己莫家己错家己，放心投票民主党，好唔好？SDP，我谢大家。
谢谢李先生。接着要介绍的是被视为民主党最有潜质的新人，他是国大医院感染科高级顾问医生及国大杨路林医学院教授，相信你们知道他是谁了吧？呀，对了，他就是民主党代表荷兰五级之马的候选人丹玛亚博士。
Okay, this doctor is contesting at Holland Bukit Timur. He's currently a professor of medicine, a senior consultant, and infectious disease physician at a major teaching hospital. Let's put your hands together for Professor.
Friends, fellow Singaporeans, last night my mother heard about my Mandarin speech and strongly suggested I say something in Tamil. Now that is very hard for me, as my Tamil is hopeless. I did Chinese as a second language, 华语是我的第二语文。Every holidays, every time the school holidays, my parents would hire a Tamil tutor to teach me Tamil. And these tutors were all scholars. They would teach me classical Tamil. And in my youth, I could not appreciate it. In fact, I had to have a lot of help from my teammate, Mr. Sadasivam. But I'm going to try, so please forgive me. Okay? Bangkaladulahe, Kenter, Paul Tambaya. Nan, Singapore, Paul Kalai, Karagadu, Fair, Asriyaga, Pani Asriguren. Nan, Singapore, Janayaga, Kachin, Bait, Kararaga, Puti, Iduguren. Singapore, Jananayaga, Kachin, Ko Gaikalai, Nan, Mulamayaga, Asriguren. Singapore Pura Jananayaka Mana Samuda Bamika Nadaga Matra Nango Viragarom and the Vida Ina Mura Mada Deva Padmavada Panakrara Virai Endra Pagupadam Ilada Nadaga Singapore Urubaka Bengal Nandri. Okay, before I go into the substance of my talk, I'd like to review some of the points raised by the DAP during their rallies last night. As you know, the SDP has decided to run a clean and fair campaign. And the tone was set by Dr. G himself. And we had initially hoped that this would be the case for our opponents too. To be fair to them, late last night, two of them removed some of the most embarrassing posts from their own Facebook pages, suggesting that they too realized the value of a clean and fair campaign. But unfortunately, the internet is unforgiving. In any case, this election is all about you, the voters. It's not about taking top shots or preserving the power of a ruling elite, nor even about an alternative government. As the largest opposition party in this campaign has only got 28 candidates. But this is really all about you, a chance for the electorate to give a report card to the government, a chance for you to decide your future. The Singapore electorate is mature and intelligent. Recent elections have shown that the people of Singapore will vote strategically, and we will all have to listen to you. What you, the people, say, both to the PAP as well as to the alternative parties. And that is what democracy is all about. Democracy is what gave us the first generation of Singapore leaders. The PAP team in the 1960s faced a strong and lively opposition before Operation Cold Storm. And this resulted in some of the best public policy that Singapore has ever seen. The expansion of public housing, the widespread provision of free healthcare into every kampong in Singapore that raised Singapore's public health standards, as well as expanded education and industrialization. The PAP leadership of those days had to convince their opponents in the other side of the house how good their policies were before they could be implemented. That was the old PAP. Singaporeans put up with some of their draconian excesses because they delivered the goods. I'm not so sure about today's PAP. Are you? The PAP we heard about yesterday seemed to channel their insecurities into scaremongering, as if they were trying to frighten the electorate into voting for them. We saw on the front page of the Straits Times about how the PAP might lose the election. Now look, the SDP has only got 11 candidates in this election. 11 very good candidates, I must say. We aim to be your voice in Parliament, to get into Parliament, to ask good questions, to demand transparency and accountability, like Dr. Wong Suk Yi talked about, from the PAP government. We cannot form the next government with 11 candidates. We cannot even implement some of those so-called dangerous policies that we have proposed, as we will be outvoted easily if we propose a motion on any of them. We can, however, use these policies as a benchmark to judge and assess the performance of the PAP. We can constantly keep reminding the PAP that public housing is about providing a roof over our heads, not some kind of asset for speculation that must appreciate that we can monetize when we get sick. Schools should be places for children to grow and develop, not places where they get stressed out, hot-housed, in high-stakes standardized exams like the PSLE. And that all Singaporeans should be treated with fairness and equality, regardless of ethnicity or religion. The people can decide on Friday for themselves how dangerous they think these policies are. So moving on to equality, it's worth remembering, and some of you may not, that in 2002, Dr. Chee Soon Juan spoke at Hong Lim Park on the right to wear tudongs, and he was fined $3,000 for his effort. Dr. Chee said at the time, "I admit that it's not a popular thing to do, but sometimes it's important to do the right thing rather than what is politically expedient." We are Singaporeans, first and foremost, and what is unfair to Singapore Malays is also unfair to all Singaporeans. Similarly, Dr. Chee said, Singaporean Malays, Indians and Eurasians should speak up for Singaporean Chinese if they are unfairly treated. That commitment to a truly multiracial and diverse Singapore is one of the reasons why I joined the SDP. In our hospitals, we've got doctors, ward clerks, and many allied health professionals wearing the hijab and serving with distinction. It's hard to understand why nurses cannot. In fact, as my teammate Daman pointed out earlier on last week, Madam Halima, Dr. Intan, and Madam Rahayu look so distinguished in their white tudungs. In fact, they look like angelic nurses. Last night, there was also a vigorous defense of the 6.9 million population target, with Minister Balakrishnan being quoted as saying, "My greater fear is that our population will never reach much beyond 6 million, because if your fertility rate is low and your economy is not booming and people don't want to come, you won't have a problem of worrying about 6 million. The greater threat is stagnation, aging and shrinking." Putting aside the alarmist scenarios, I personally think that the minister needs to spend more time in the real world instead of home visits once every 4 to 5 years. My wife and I like to stay in Singapore during the long weekends because we estimate that about 1 million people leave Singapore for our neighboring countries, especially with the strong Singapore dollar. So Singapore is a great place to live with about 3.5 to 4 million people. The traffic is better, the shops are less crowded, we can even get decent seats in the movie theatre. And I think that most Singaporeans would favour a more sustainable growth model rather than the PAP's obsession with growth for the sake of growth. There was also some concern in the rallies about the SDP's healthcare plan and about how this would erode our defense capability. As I mentioned yesterday, we want smart defense spending, where programs such as the F-35, this is the fighter plane which some people have called the plane which cannot fight, can be scrutinized and evaluated. But today, I think we should consider an even greater shift. We recognize that Singapore needs to have a very highly publicized, large budget defense figure to send a message to any would-be aggressors, which Mr. D'Souza was asked about last night. One way to do that, while protecting the lives and well-beings of all Singaporeans, would be to put the Ministry of Health under the Ministry of Defense, total defense. That way, money can be released for the National Health Insurance Fund while preserving the high defense budget figures for public consumption. After all, every day, more Singaporeans die of heart disease than were killed during confrontasi. Every year, more Singaporeans die of cancer than died during the Japanese occupation. We need to defend our citizens against threats both external to the body and internal. I know that this is quite unheard of anywhere in the world, but in our unique Singapore, we should not be afraid of taking bold steps for the good of our people. While the cultures of the two ministries are also quite different, I know many people in MOH who would relish the resources and efficiency of MINDEF. Finally, this afternoon at the Boat Quay rally, we saw the image of someone carrying a carrot. It struck a chord in many people, a giant orange carrot. Many people are afraid that if the PAP loses an SMC or GRC, that immunities will be withdrawn. Now I can reassure you, the PAP is neither all-powerful nor is it evil. Despite the threat that the citizens of Aljunied would live to repent their choices, the MRT still runs in Aljunied. It's on the east-west line. It wasn't affected by the Nell breakdown today. Serangoon Gardens still has Chong Chong and other delightful eateries. Lift upgrading continues. And life goes on despite the endless debates about the accounts. Our civil service is professional, competent, and non-partisan. They will continue to provide you with the services you need regardless of who you, the voters, decide to elect on Friday. I assure you. This election, however, is about more than policies and programs. It is about values. As I've mentioned before, I joined the SDP because I shared its commitment to social justice. My commitment to social justice comes largely from my parents. My mother used to repeatedly quote from Proverbs 31 in the Bible, where it says, "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves." This has been the theme of this campaign. Many people have contacted us through this week and last week with their stories, which have often been heartbreaking. I would like to say to all of you who have shared your stories with us, I wish we could speak up for all of you, but we only have 9 days for this campaign. We promise that if we are elected, we will continue to speak up and ask good questions in Parliament. I am going to, however, highlight 2 stories tonight. The first is from a friend. She got very shy about it. She didn't want me to identify her. Last night she shared with me a concern she had raised with one of the ministers of state. She said, "I have heard this claim that MOE has provided most schools for help with kids with learning disabilities since my son, who is dyslexic, was in P1. But I haven't experienced anything that you promised. He is now preparing for his PSLE 6 years later. With a strong voice in Parliament and a clear education policy as a benchmark, I promised her that we would keep asking the ministry to keep their promises on the ground to real world, to real parents and real children alike." The second story is even more heartbreaking. A mother wrote to me about her daughter, who's less than 2 years old and has a chronic illness. She needs specialized medical therapy, which costs about $5,000 to $8,000 a month. The treatment is given in most places as an outpatient. But if this was the case here, the parents cannot use their own MediSave or MediShield, or even MediShield Life when it kicks in later this year. The hospital has been very good and is trying to work something out for them, but they keep failing the means test, which would give them access to MediFund. They, like so many Singaporeans, are caught in between. They are not poor enough to qualify for the complicated means-tested assistance schemes. At the same time, they're not rich enough to be able to comfortably deal with these very high medical bills. As I've said before, Singapore has very good medical care. In another Southeast Asian country, this child would not have survived. But the child is doing well. But the family has spent a lot of their savings, and they're trying very hard to provide the best for her, while not neglecting her older siblings. The mother came to the rally at Toh Guan Road last night and spoke to me. She volunteered to come on stage tonight. But this afternoon, however, she sent me a message. She said she was struggling with this. And so I said it was alright. I would just tell her story and she doesn't need to worry. She replied poignantly, and I quote, "It's not okay. Suffering, and don't even dare to complain. It's really very painful." She's here in the audience tonight, and I promised her that I would tell her story regardless. And if elected, we would continue to raise these voices and messages in Parliament. It is for people like this mother and her family that I step forward from the comfortable world of being a university professor and a senior doctor to get involved in politics. Politics is about people. We have to put people above profits. This Friday, you can make a difference. Tell your friends and relatives and neighbors, vote for the SDP to be your voice in Parliament. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is our guest speaker as well. He's the chairman of Singapore Democratic Party.
接下来是大会的第2特别发言人，他就是新加坡民主党的主席
Marsiling-Yew, my friends, neighbors, and fellow Singaporeans. I live just down the road, block 359. I'm a resident here as well. Welcome to our second last rally in this very crucial election, the outcome of which will have a lasting consequence on you and your children. We, the SDP, want you to seriously think about what we have been saying over the last few days and what the message we are putting out this evening. This will help you make an informed decision before you go to the polls on Friday. On the surface, Singapore, with its fascinating skyline, looks really impressive, both to locals and the unwary foreigners. We are also said to be among the richest or the richest nation in the world. But sadly, there are many Singaporeans among us, especially the elderly, who have to spend their twilight years collecting cardboards, cleaning tables at food centers, coffee shops, and this, mind you, is just to make enough money for the next meal. Recently, when asked by reporters, our Minister for Social and Family Development, Mr. Tan Chuan Jin, recently quoted to have said that these elderly people who are collecting cardboards are doing it for the exercise. The PAP says, they also say that those who aspire to be elected into parliament must be persons of good character, honest, incorruptible, and must have good integrity. I agree with their rhetoric completely. Mind you, it's only rhetoric. Let's see how the PAP fits into this mold, these so-called integrity values that they talk about. They are supposed to be the custodians of the nation's assets. And they are not supposed to be running commercial entities where emphasis is given to profit making or, to make it clear, the bottom line. A good government does not conceal information and is bound by duty and responsibility to be accountable to its citizens. If they are as honest as they would want us to believe, they must act in the ways that are in the best interest of the people. They are not supposed to be making profits out of the people. These are few examples I will list here. Alright, that will prove that they are not acting in the best interest of the people or their well-being. A government comprising of good and honest people does not renege on its social contract with its citizens. It must not keep changing the rules to suit its own interests. It must, above all, exercise its moral responsibilities to keep its word. One area in point is the CPF. Now, when I was growing up, when I entered the job industry at 18 and started my CPF, that was way back ago. I'm 51 now. I used to see my uncles, people retiring, taking out their entire funds. And they were happy back then. I was looking forward to my retirement. And what hope do I have now, looking at the way they are tinkering with the CPF savings? The rules that govern the withdrawal age And the conditions keep on changing. The original contract to allow the savings to be withdrawn at 55 has now been raised 65. Alright. In fact, since the 80s, they've been tinkering with the CPF, the housing board and all this. All of it is our CPF hard-earned money locked up in the house. What am I going to do at 65 or 75? Eat a brick off the wall? Now they'll come out with fanciful, new and creative schemes. This is to find new ways to retain the retirees' savings till 65. Now after this, our money will be returned to us in drips and drabs in small monthly payouts. This is my money. I don't understand. Does the PAP understand? This is a hard-earned money. It took me 30 years. And now you are telling me that I can't touch it. What is wrong with them? The minimum sum scheme. It was announced this year that citizens reaching 55 years old have to keep a minimum of $161,000 till the age of 61. How many of us got $165,000? Right. How many of y'all have after paying for your house? This after paying for their ridiculously priced HDB flats. At the age of 55, I would like to be allowed to withdraw my money or invest my money however way I see fit. It's my money, the PAP doesn't have the right to hold it, that's all. It's very simple. Alright, maybe there was a couple of uncles and old men go Batam and blow their money. Are we all going to do that? Make that clear on Friday at the polls. The honesty that the PAP insists that everybody else has. Let's look at the way they tell you how the price of land is computed. The land on which your HDB flat sits is originally acquired at extremely low prices. The land is then transferred to the land authority until the time it is needed for construction of your flat. The land authority then sells the land to HDB at a price reflecting market rates. After that is packaged with a construction cost and sold to Singaporeans at a price or a formula which nobody knows. The HDB has refused to reveal to Singaporeans the cost for the last 35 years. In the 80s, Mr. Chauncey Kong repeatedly called on the PAP government to come clean on the cost. But the demands fell on silent ears. The government doesn't want you to know the exorbitant profit that they are making from the sales of the flats. The government is not a private developer who tenders for the land at competitive prices. It is, as I mentioned earlier, it is the custodian of the people's assets and therefore should not be making huge profits from Singaporeans. Now, some of you will recall, even the elected president, the late Mr. Ong Teng Cheong, God bless his soul, who was empowered by the law to safeguard the national reserves. Even he was not given an answer. Alright, the government didn't give an answer as to how much is the value of our reserves. The then President Mr. Ong Teng Cheong was told by the government that it would take 56 man years to calculate the value. These are but a few examples of how honest the PAP conducts itself. What about integrity? The PAP likes to use the term integrity. What I understand about integrity is that people with integrity do not go around using the state machinery to fix their opponents. Instead of looking after us, having a clean debate, the PAP should come out and talk about policies, not name spearing and name calling out. Come and talk to us about our policies. The cases, talk about integrity, the cases involving the late J.B. Jeyaretnam and Tan Liang Hong. These cases come to mind. J.B. or Jeyaretnam, as he was affectionately called, was hounded out of Parliament not once but twice. He was falsely accused of misusing the Workers' Party's funds, for which the Privy Council found him innocent of all charges on appeal. But the PAP government ignored the Privy Council's ruling and refused to take steps to restore JB's good name. Then we have Tan Liang Hong, among others, who was unfairly accused of being a Chinese chauvinist. And he, Tan Liang Hong, a man that was known to be an expert in Indian classical dances. This man is a chauvinist. Tang lost all his assets together with JB. Then he had to leave the country. He didn't have a choice and escape the persecution of the PAP. His sin, as you may already know, was to stand as an opposition candidate in Chengshan GRC in 1997 general election. And there were many others who have been so unfairly detained, prosecuted, persecuted for not seeing eye to eye with PAP leaders. I just want to say something about the great social divide that has befallen our society. The elites, who includes the ministers of the PAP government, live very much in their own world. They have no idea or clue on how we run our lives day to day. This current government and their paper generals and their scholars have crafted policies without having real life experiences of how ordinary people live out their lives here. They are truly out of touch with reality. The high cost of healthcare, housing, rental and doing business are much of an evidence of a mismatch here. I think I overstretched my time. I'm going to stop here. Anyway, the next speaker will carry on. Have a good day. Nice talking to all of you.
Thank you, Chapika. 现年54岁，是一名大学讲师，也是民主党的副主席。这次他将代表马西岭油石集选区参加大选，他就是陈良玉先生。
Before I start, someone out there have dropped your car keys. Anyone dropped to approach us and claim it back. The next speaker is a candidate for Marsiling-Yew GRC. He's the Vice Chairman of Singapore Let's welcome Mr. John Tan!
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dear fellow citizens, I want to thank the many of you who came up to shake my hand the last few nights, and also when I go on my walkabout. Whether you know it or not, that shake of the hand, the words when you say that you support me, that you will vote for SDP, it increases my energy. It gives me that extra ounce of energy to walk that extra mile. Thank you so much. Thank you. I have prepared my speech today with some research I've done in the past, some time ago. CPF, minimum sum scheme, which all of us, many of us, have loved to hate. HDB prices, something that concerns us all, especially young people who find it increasingly difficult to own. Well, I prepared all these necessary data and argument so that I can present it to you tonight. But this afternoon, when I was just reading it through again, I tore it all up. Numbers are cold. You can get them from the internet. So, I would rather tell you some real story of real people who are affected by such inadequate and irresponsible policies like the ones that I've just mentioned. Yesterday, just yesterday, a man, well, let's just call him Mr. Lim, came up to me on a walking stick, took my hand, and he assured me that he will vote for me. But before I could thank him, he beseeched that I must promise to do something in return. Just a few years ago, he said, he used to live with his aged mom. Life was okay, he described in Teochew, Jia Hui Pa. Well, I'm sure you have heard that a lot, very often. Well, his ordeal started when he had surgery just a few years ago. And he pointed and showed me the scar on his neck and going all the way down. He wanted to take out his shirt, but I said, no, it's okay. I believe you. He spent a huge amount of money, his saving, his life saving, on the surgery. But thereafter, his life changed. His money, whatever that was left of it, was depleted because he cannot be gainfully employed ever again. He had checked with a few agencies, hoping to get some amount of welfare aids. But time and again, he was turned away because he was told that he's not entitled to welfare because he has a flat. He was told that he can sell it and use those money. So he did, and downgraded to a rental flat. But to his horrors, he found that a huge chunk of the money that he gained after selling the flat got stuck in CPF. And whatever that is left soon become depleted also. He now resorts to picking used cans and paper, which he sells just enough for his daily meals. Sometimes he has to skip a meal, he told me, because he says, "Mẹ kia July Ju Kui, Tik Wa Hui Mi, Ku Cha Ho, Soi Dang Si, No Kou Ji, Mui Ga Sa Kou, Dong King, Xiang Jiao Jo Ai Si Kou, Cho Ni Ke Bui, Cho Ni Ke Jia." Sometimes he would fall down, he said, and hurt himself while picking papers and cans. Even children would help me pick up those cans, he said, with tears welling in his eyes. But the government would not lift a finger to help me. Dear friends, the CPF minimum sum scheme is immoral. Had I presented to you in just cold numbers and data tonight, well, all I could conclude is that the scheme is not a good one, and that's pretty much about it. But now you have heard the story of Mr. Lim, and I'm quite sure that many of you have heard stories like that yourself. And because of that, I can say to you that the minimum sum scheme is immoral. Tell me, isn't it immoral to deprive a man of his own money? Tell me, isn't it immoral to drive him to such a state, such a life of misery, just because the government thinks they are smarter than the rest of us in managing our own money? I promise Mr. Lim that when I become an MP, I will attend to his case personally. But that was a bold promise on my part because I'm acting in faith. My faith is in you. Because I will need your help to fulfill that promise. If you don't put me in Parliament this Friday, I will have to disappoint Mr. Lim. Please, help me deliver my promise to him. What happened to Mr. Lim and many others like him is really unnecessary. It is only because we have an uncaring government. So uncaring that they make it a point to make welfare a dirty word. Don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating a welfare that gives handout to people who are too lazy to find a job. That is merely a myth propagated by the PAP. Under the PAP system, which is evident for all to see right now, what we see in reality are stories such as Mr. Lim's. Stories that outrage our sense of morality. stories that outrage our sense of righteousness, stories that outrage our sense of simply helping our neighbors. Long ago, a very wise man once told a story about a man who was robbed, beaten, and left to die. Another man, a traveler, a passerby, saw him. He was from a different culture and took pity on him. Not only was he from a different culture, he was from a culture that was traditionally an enemy of the fallen man. In spite of that, he took pity on him, helped him, and nursed him back to health. But here in Singapore, we have a government that look at our very own poor, our very own downtrodden citizen and say, oh, we cannot extend our help because welfare will make people dependent on it like a clutch. Can you believe that? When I left Mr. Lim yesterday, he was holding a physical clutch. Ladies and gentlemen, if I have my way, given his circumstances, if I have to offer him a financial clutch, so be it. There is nothing wrong looking after our own. The one thing that will make us proud of our country is when we look after each other. Leave no one behind. That's one of the mottos in SDP. Leaving no one behind is a principle, a value that SDP would like to advocate. And we are counting on you to make it a reality this Friday. Put us into Parliament so we can speak up for Mr. Lim and others like him. Put us into Parliament so we can be your voice in Parliament. This Friday, can I call on you? Can Mr. Lim call on you? Can Singapore call on you? 这个星期五，给民主党一票。Hari Jumaat ini undilah SDP. SDP ke Marsiling-Yew. Thank you. Thank you. I'm counting on you.
谢谢陈良基先生。我们现在要做一项团队活动，展现我们国人的团结统一精神。
Okay, as mentioned, we are going to do team exercise. You know, SDP got balls, big balls. To my right is the ball at the back. You push them to the front. On my left, you push them to the back. Let's do it.
我们左边这边有一粒很大的气球，我们把它推向前面去。
This activity represents unity and teamwork. We work together
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
We miss you.
Friends, we don't have much time left. It's only 2 more days before we head to the polls. And after tonight, we only have 1 more rally left tomorrow. So that I'll come straight to the point. I promise at the start of this election that my colleagues and I will not engage in name calling. My word is my honor. And even though I have been on the receiving end of the PAP's continued personal attacks, and last night the PAP Holland Bukit Timah team continued these attacks, I will not engage in center politics. I made a promise to myself that if I win this election, I want to win with honor. And if I lose, I want to lose with grace and dignity. I've gotten many emails and messages asking me to whack Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan and Ms. Simon back after their remarks last night. And I've seen many unkind names that some people have called them. Please don't do that. You're calling her names, him names, doesn't just hurt them. It hurts their families and loved ones too, because they're someone's daughter, father, or husband, wife. I know that, because they've called me all sorts of names, and it hurts my loved ones, because I too am someone's father, someone's son, someone's husband. As I said, if you attack the policy, not the person. In football parlance, you play the ball, not the man. Now let's get back to the real issue. I want to start with the population issue. Now Ms. Simon is the director of the National Population and Talent Division, the division that is at the heart of our population policy. Now we have heard various numbers put forward by the PAP in terms of the optimal population size for Singapore. Mr. Goh Chok Tong says 4 million. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew says between 5.3 to 5.5 million. Mr. Mao Bao Tan says 6.5 million. Mr. Lee Hsien Loong says 6.9 million. And after the big outcry from Singaporeans, he reduced it to 6 million. Then we have heard from the former head of SDP, Mr. Dr. Liu Tai Ker, he says 10 million. As Director of the National Population and Talent Division, I would like to ask Mr. Mann the following 3 questions. And if the PAP doesn't want to answer them, I will ask them again in Parliament. 3 questions are: 1. Can you tell Singaporeans clearly how many people that the PAP want to have in Singapore? Because after all these numbers being thrown about, you cannot blame us. if we are confused. And worse, believe that the PAP is also confused. This is the first answer I would like to get from the PAP, from Mr. Mann. 2. The SDP proposes that the optimal number of people we should have in Singapore has to be based on how happily Singaporeans can live their lives in this country. I want to ask her, is this an idea that the PAP will consider? 3. Will Mr. Mann consider implementing our Singaporeans First policy, where we assess all PMETs who wish to work in Singapore on a point system, based on their qualifications, their skills, their experience, etc. And if they meet the cutoff, then they will be shortlisted into a pool, and Singaporean employers will then be able to hire from this pool, but only after they demonstrate that they cannot find Singaporeans to fill the position. This is a system practiced in many advanced countries. And this will ensure that we have effective control over the quality of foreign PMETs joining our workforce, while not depriving our local businesses of genuine foreign talent that they need. Will you, Mr. Mann, as Director of the National Population and Talent Division, consider these proposals? If you won't, can you tell us your reasons? Now, I ask these questions because they will help us start a proper debate about the population policy that is seriously affecting the lives of our citizens. Just yesterday, the NEL MRT line system broke down again. And they are making things very, very inconvenient for our people. I think it is very important that the PAP and the SDP have a serious and honest-to-goodness discussion about this population issue. I ask these questions because I think it is high time that politics in Singapore graduate into a level where the government and opposition can have a mature debate about issues that affect everybody, about the lives of people. This is precisely why the SDP has taken pains to draw up alternative policies. Now, another one of these policies that I wish to highlight tonight is our housing policy, which I invite you to read on our website, ursdp.org, because I don't have the time to delve into the details given the limited amount of time that I have in this election. What I wish to bring to your attention, however, is what one Mr. Yeo Lam Keong said about our housing policy. Mr. Yeo, may I point out, is a senior research fellow at the Institute of Policy Studies, and he is advisor at 2 universities, NUS and SMU. He is the Vice President of the Economic Society of Singapore, and he was also the Chief Economist at the GIC. You can Google his background, but I want you to listen to what Mr. Yeo said about our housing paper. He praised the policy, our policy, as excellent. And quote, "Not only is the SDP's housing paper's theory and methodology sound and rigorous, the empirical work seems well researched and remarkably detailed as well." Unquote. He said that our non-open market proposal is coherently laid out and makes much sense in terms of the objective of potentially giving low-income and middle-class Singaporeans access to affordable, high-quality public housing. He added that the SDP's principle to de-link HDB prices from the private cost of land is a fundamentally sound one. He also highlighted the paper's discussion of the causes of asset price inflation and the dangers of an asset bubble in property, commenting that these issues are currently insufficiently tackled and highlighted by policy makers. He said that the paper goes a long way towards achieving its goal of outlining a holistic policy for affordable public housing in Singapore. Quote, considering the authors are approaching a complex, technically arcane area with not much available data, it discusses the main arguments and alternatives cogently, rigorously, and very competently, unquote. Again, I urge all of you to visit our website and read the paper for yourself. I know that many of you are fearful about voting for the opposition. And it's natural. It's very human. It's very human to feel fear. Fear of the unknown. Many of you are uncertain about change or apprehensive about how your town council is going to be managed. This is why we have taken pains to put up alternative papers. We want you to know what the alternative looks like so that you are assured that you are voting for a competent party with credible and sound ideas. Many observers have credited us with coming up with sound alternative ideas, of conducting the most credible online vote, and having the best organized party structure. And we did all this with a tiny budget that we have had to raise ourselves. Friends, imagine what we can do and achieve for you if we had MPs and had the adequate funds to work and serve you. We have stated that we will put aside up to 50% of our MP's allowance to conduct our programs, and many of us will work full-time as MPs to ensure that the work is done with competence. Let us not fear the alternative. If you let the PAP lead you to believe that the alternative is dangerous, then you will let it control what you think and how you live your lives. And we're not saying that we change everything overnight. We're not even saying that we have all the answers. We believe that our alternative ideas are good, but we know that they are not perfect. What we're saying is that you need a second opinion in Parliament. You need another voice to examine and debate important issues. You need MPs who will propose alternative ideas and policies. I would like you to think about this question and think about it very carefully. Why do you think the PAP introduced minimum wage for cleaners, or come up with Medishield Live, or propose to control immigration better? It is because of the opposition, the SDP pressing for that. The PAP knows that if it does these things, or at least makes a show of it doing these things, doing something about it happens, it will suffer at the polls if it doesn't do these things. But these are concessions that are piecemeal, and they can be reversed if the PAP is elected in the numbers like the previous election. Now is not the time to start voting for the PAP just because it tells you it has introduced Medishield Live, that it has given out Pioneer Generation package and slowed down the immigration of foreigners. The truth is that without SDP MPs, the PAP will not be made to keep to its promises. Now is the time to press on and make sure that SDP MPs are in the next Parliament. MPs will ensure that the PAP reforms its population, CPF, and cost of living policy in your interest. Let us not fear freedom. The freedom to choose. The freedom that comes with more diversity. Instead, let us embrace it. For freedom allows us to hope and to create. And it is hope and creativity that will spur progress for our nation. The PAP has pulled out all the stops, giving concessions here, rebates there, and getting everyone drunk with an SG50 merriment. But what happens when the party is over, my friends? What happens when the music stops playing and all the guests go home? Your housing loan is still not paid. The electricity bill has gone up. And the guy that threw the party now sends you the bill for the cake, the decorations and the drinks. Before the elections, the government is very generous. But what you should be worried about is what happens after the elections if there is no opposition in Parliament. How we live in the future, as a community, as a nation, will depend on the choices that we make today. The political and economic incentives and disincentives that we build into our system will determine whether we progress or stagnate. Now, you may not, or you may agree with everything that the SDP says and does. But the one thing that you cannot dispute is that the SDP has worked tirelessly to meet your expectations of a competent, constructive, and compassionate party. Now let me go back to the point I started off in my speech tonight. The PAP and the SDP may have different visions for our country, but that doesn't mean we need to be mortal enemies. We may belong to different camps, but that doesn't mean we need to wish each other ill. I've always believed that a strong government can only come about if there is a strong opposition. And I believe that you, the people, want to see both. And you can have both. But whether it is the SDP or the PAP, we must love our country more than we love our own country. Ultimately, Singapore must come first. And if Singapore is to come first, then let us discard the politics of old and look ahead to a democratic and bright future. I believe in the same belief, and I continue to work towards the same goal that I did when I started out in politics, which is to claim for ourselves the freedom so that all of us can care for society, for our nation. That was my goal and my dream 25 years ago, and it remains my goal and my dream today. But that dream is not mine alone. It is shared by all of us here tonight. It is shared by all of us who believe in justice and equality and a better future for all Singaporeans. I cannot do it alone. None of us in the SDP can. Without you, the party doesn't exist. But with you, there is nothing we cannot achieve. Some say that Singaporeans are a pragmatic people, uninterested in human rights and democracy. Now, even if this is true, which I don't believe, it doesn't matter. What matters is that Singaporeans who do, Singaporeans like you and I, must press ahead with the arduous but noble effort to make into reality that idea, that dream, that hope of democracy that has eluded our nation for too long. Let us not yield, and let us not kneel. Instead, let us stand up like men and women with all our transgressions, with all our fears, with all our imperfections, but let us stand up and rattle the cage of oppression. Let us defy those who put minds into our cages, who put our eyes into places, and who put our souls into mortuaries. Let us continue to fight the fight that so many across the world have fought, so that we too may know the exhilaration that comes with freedom, the compassion that comes with justice, and the wisdom that comes with an open and democratic society. I ask you, my friends, to keep faith with the SDP and to help us build a future confident and prosperous. To this end, you have my undying commitment and loyalty. Thank you. Good night.
To say something that I heard. The quote that I learned when I was in school.
Read. Do your homework.
The world hates change, yet is the only thing that has brought progress. I think it's relevant to us all. Let's vote for SDP on Friday. Fellow Singaporeans, you have heard our speakers tonight. Please go home and talk to everyone you meet about what you heard. If you agree with us, tell your friends. If you don't, you have suggestions, contact us and email us. We want to know what you think. Thank you again for coming tonight. Our next rally is at Block 20420 Avenue Street at the open field tomorrow at 7 p.m.
在情绪高昂的气氛下，我宣布大会正式结束。明天的群众大会将会在新闻泰6巷大牌204前面的空地举行。现在我们将摆一些桌子，我们将会请徐世全博士上前来，举行签名活动。你们可以到红布营业厅那边的购买徐博士的书，然后来在前面排队等待他签名，好吗？记得投票当天把你神圣的一票投给民主党，把我们带进国会。
Running an election campaign is very expensive, especially so if you are an opposition party, because we never have an iron bank backing us up or a sugar daddy. So do visit our merchandise booth on the right and do support us in any way you can, be it time, effort or money. We appreciate our very sincerely on all contributions.
This concludes the sixth night at the general election here at Woodlands Stadium for the Singapore Democratic Party. So just now for today's speeches concentrated on the candidates from Marsiling-Yew GRC as well as Holland Bukit Timah GRC. And also there were two guest speakers. There was Chee Seok Chin, the sister of Dr. Chee Soon-Juan, as well as the chairman of the party, Jeffrey George. So there were many issues that were brought up today, meaning the ministerial pay, the CPF, as well as issues like rising medical costs. So to quote Dr. Chee, who said that a strong government can only come about with a very strong opposition. So maybe let's just ask some views with the people around us. A lot of them are actually queuing up for Dr. Chee's signatures right now. Hello. Can we interview you? Can we ask you a few questions? Who are you here with today?
My sister.
Do you know who is Dr. Chee?
No.
Dr. Chee Soon-Juan?
No.
No? Okay, then it's okay, thank you. Let's try to find someone else. Hi, can we ask you a few questions? So, is this your first time at the SDP rally?
Oh yeah, it is.
And are you living in one of the constituencies contested by SDP? for this general elections?
Yeah, Holland. Holland's contested by the SDP, and I'm living.
So Dr. Chee Soon-Juan will be contesting in that, and how do you find the entire rally just now?
I think it was very inspiring. I mean, he stuck to his belief from 25 years ago, and he's following through all the way till now. And I really respect his efforts, and he really wants to have a voice for the people. So I really applaud his efforts. Yeah.
And what do you think about the proposals that were brought up by Dr. Chee and his team?
Which aspects of it?
They talk about the national healthcare plan as well as things. Yes, such as like smaller class sizes as well as less results-oriented kind of education system. Do you agree with what was proposed, and what do you think this will work for Singapore?
I'm not very sure about the aspect because I haven't seen a different system, but I think change and bringing opposition to the parliament, it's definitely what Singapore needs now, because without a different voice, there's never a different opinion and there will never be change.
And one of the candidates, Mr. Daman Huri, actually said that the opposition is credible, and do you agree with that?
I'm not really sure because I just followed this, so I can't really say anything yet. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, let's try to find someone else. Looks like we may have a lot of time for interviews today. There's a huge crowd of people actually waiting for Dr. Chee to come out from the media zone. Hi, can we ask you a few questions about the rally? We are from Happy TV, which is the online independent media channel. So I just want to ask, is it your first time to SDP rally?
No, many times.
And are you living in a constituency?
Break up now. I break up my place to NSP.
Okay. So how do you find the rally today?
We are getting better and better.
In what sense?
Everything you should know already is when you see the crowd getting bigger.
And do you agree with what do you think about some of the proposals that were? Do you think that will work for Singapore?
Of course.
And what do you think about the opposition here in Singapore? Have we reached a stage where it is credible right now?
Of course, everyone is a Singaporean with all the credibility, all are educated, and everybody the same one. It's a Singaporean one. Give everybody a chance.
And you know, the opposition has raised up a lot of issues about rising medical costs and rising costs of living, things like CPF and ministerial pays. What are your views about this?
What they're saying is all true, lies. What they say is all correct. Let's see. We will see on Friday.
So if I ask you,
yeah, it's okay.
So if I ask you, who do you think you already know who you're voting for this?
My place is NSP. Before that was SDP. I'm always with them.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Looks like we may have to get out of the media zone. Let's go on. You want to leave it here?
My camera.
Okay, let's just find another supporter here. It seems like it's quite a... Hi, can we ask you a few questions? We are from the media. Can we ask you a few questions? We are from... okay, can we ask you a few questions instead?
I can interpret for him, maybe.
Actually, it's okay. Can we interview you instead? We are from
which media is that?
We are from Happy TV, which is the online independent media channel.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to ask, is this your first time at an SDP rally?
It's my first time at an SDP rally. Yeah.
And are you living in any of the constituencies that contested by SDP?
No.
Okay. So how do you find
I'm working in Shanghai. I just flew back. I touched down in Singapore today, and then tonight I'm here.
So how do you find the rally? This is your first SDP?
My first rally ever. I've been working in China for 13 years now.
And how do you find the rally tonight?
I think it was great. Yeah, it was good, interesting.
And do you agree with what some of the proposals that they had, about national healthcare plan as well as things like CPF, lowering the minimum withdrawal age for CPF and stuff like that?
Yes, mostly, yes.
And what are the issues that concern you as a voter for this general election?
I just think that at the moment, in the last election, we've had 40% of voters that did not vote for the PAP, and this section of voters are only represented by 7 opposition MPs. I think that to me is a freak election. Yeah.
And one of the candidates, Mr. Daman Huri, said that the opposition is actually credible at this point in time. Do you agree with that?
Come again, what did he say?
That the opposition right now in Singapore has reached a stage where it is credible enough.
Did he actually say this? I'm not sure that he said this.
Yes, he said that. What are your views about that?
Well, absolutely. Well, I would say some parties are more credible than others. We would have to listen to each of them very carefully and see what they're saying. Definitely, not all opposition parties are equal.
And are you aware of the recent saga between PAP as well as their attacks on Dr. Chee Soon Juan?
Absolutely, yes.
And what are your views about that? Do you think it's fair?
I think that the PAP just has to put down its old approach its old knuckle duster approach of hammering people and stick to the issues. They keep saying that they want to talk about the issues, but from me as a voter, I've been listening to what they've been saying. They're not talking about the issues. Focus on the issues and stop trying to dismantle people.
So just a final question. So do you actually already know who you will be voting for on Friday? Or?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Thank you. So so this concludes our day 6 of the general election rallies here at Woodlands Stadium, and tomorrow night SDP will be holding a final rally. So stay tuned for that, together with the other 14 rallies that will be going on here live on Happy TV. This is Darius signing off. Thank you for staying with us. Good night.